For the first time in decades, more people are leaving the United States than arriving. They're not refugees. They're not fleeing war. They're ordinary Americans. Packing up and moving to Portugal, Spain, Mexico, Berlin. And the number leaving doubles every year. The American dream is alive. It's just not in America anymore. For generations, the United States was seen as the ultimate destination for migrants seeking opportunity and prosperity. But according to a recent The Wall Street Journal report and the Brookings Institution, a growing number of Americans are now choosing to leave the country instead. A Brookings Institution analysis, cited by multiple outlets, estimated that the United States experienced negative net migration in 2025 for the first time in decades, meaning more people left the country than arrived. Researchers estimated net outward migration ranged between 10,000 and nearly 300,000 people last year, with some estimates suggesting more than 400,000 Americans voluntarily relocated abroad. Jen Barnett, founder of relocation consultancy Expatsai, told the Wall Street Journal that the profile of Americans leaving has changed dramatically.
Previously, the Americans leaving were super adventurous and well-credentialed. Now they're ordinary people like me.
Barnett herself relocated from the United States to Mexico's Yucatan region in 2024. According to CNBC, Expatsi's Move Abroad Con in San Diego attracted around 600 Americans in May 2026, double the attendance from the previous year. The majority of attendees reportedly cited political concerns, rising living costs, and quality of life issues as their main motivations for leaving the US.
If you can't achieve in the United States what was once called the American dream, then why stay here? There is a disgraceful president, health insurance that costs more than a salary, and a Supreme Court that decided my body does not belong to me. My husband and I are now looking at options, and by the end of the year, we will leave.
In February last year, a Harris poll found that 68% of Americans considering emigration blamed unaffordable housing and economic insecurity, while nearly half cited political disagreements and dissatisfaction with the country's direction. Gallup polling published in November 2025 showed that nearly 1 in 5 Americans said they wanted to permanently leave the United States, roughly double the level recorded a decade earlier. Europe has emerged as a major destination. Reports say Portugal, Spain, Ireland, and Germany have seen record numbers of American arrivals in recent years. Mexico also remains a top choice, with the US State Department estimating that around 1.6 million Americans currently live there. Global Citizen Solutions, a citizenship advisory firm, wrote in a recent report on the trend.
For the better part of 2 centuries, the story of American migration ran in a single direction: inward. The United States was the gravitational center of global human movement, the place people came to, not the place people left. That narrative is shifting.
Analysts say remote work, digital nomad visas, and lower living costs abroad are accelerating the trend. Some Americans cited fears over reproductive rights, healthcare costs, gun violence, and political polarization as reasons for exploring life overseas. Chris Ford, a real estate investor who moved to Berlin and runs a baseball league for American children.
Here, you don't think about how your 5-year-old child goes to kindergarten and practices drills in case someone comes in with a gun. Salaries are higher in the United States, but quality of life is higher in Europe.
Despite often earning lower salaries abroad, many emigrants told media outlets they believe Europe and parts of Latin America offer a better quality of life, greater affordability, and less political tension. While the exact number of Americans living overseas remains unclear, estimates suggest between 4 and 9 million US citizens now reside outside the country, a figure experts believe could continue rising in the years ahead. 3 men are dead, and 2 teenage gunmen have killed themselves after an attack on San Diego's largest mosque in what police are investigating as a hate crime. The shooting at the Islamic Center of San Diego in the city's Claremont neighborhood began on May 18th at around 11:40 local time in the morning, when 2 teenage suspects opened fire outside the complex before turning their weapons on themselves a few blocks away.
At about 9:42 this morning, we received a call of a runaway juvenile. After speaking with the mom began to piece together bits and pieces of information over an extended period of time. The information that she was gathering and conveying to us began to elevate the threat level that we were perceiving with this information.
Police had been searching for the pair for nearly 2 hours before the attack. The mother of the 17-year-old had called officers that morning to report her son had run away, taken 3 of her weapons and her vehicle. She told police he was suicidal and was with a companion, both dressed in camouflage. That detail raised immediate alarm. Officers used automated license plate readers, dispatched units to a nearby shopping mall, and alerted Madison High School, where at least one of the suspects was enrolled. They were still interviewing the mother just blocks from the mosque when the first shots rang out.
We are actively investigating this as a hate crime. There are details and information that we are investigating as to exactly what those what the hate speech or the hate words were that were conveyed. Some of that is going to have to take more time to develop further to see where that information is coming from. But yes, it's being investigated as a hate crime at this point. There was definitely hate rhetoric that was involved.
Among the dead was Armin Abdullah, a security guard who had worked at the center for more than a decade. Police credited him with preventing a far deadlier outcome. A friend of Abdullah's told reporters the guard was a father of 8 who ran towards the mosque entrance every morning when parents dropped off their children for school. The Islamic Center houses the Al-Rashid School, which serves students from the age of 5. All children inside were evacuated safely. Footage shows them walking out hand in hand, surrounded by scores of police vehicles.
My community is mourning. This is something that we have never expected to take place. But at the same time, the religious intolerance and the hate, unfortunately, that exists in our nation is unprecedented. All of us, we are responsible for spreading the culture of tolerance, the culture of love. All of us, we are responsible from whatever position we have as parents, as media people, as elected officials, as law enforcement, as religious leaders. All of us, we can do something to protect our nation, to protect our society. And please, I have one request to the media. Stop sharing the picture of the victims.
Investigators found hate speech written on one of the weapons. A note left behind at the suspect's home contained writings about racial pride, though police said there was no specific threat made against the mosque. US President Donald Trump described the deadly shooting as a terrible situation, saying he had received early updates and expected further details.
They're giving a briefing, and it's a terrible situation. I've been given some early updates, but we're going to be going back and looking at it very strongly.
The attack came days before Eid al-Adha, one of the most sacred periods in the Islamic calendar. The FBI is now working alongside local police as the investigation continues.